Election day, guys. Hi, welcome to my page. This is Pretty Politico, and I am your girl Nico Nicole. Today is election day. Let me turn this down because I have the background. I always do my research before I hop in here. So again, Nico Nicole. This is Pretty Politico. Today is the day, D-Day, election day. You guys know I had to come in here and get this party started with you all and do our weekly highlights. So if you new, hi boss, how you doing? So we here. Did you vote or did you vote? Cause I voted. You saw the video on my page, honey. They tried to they tried to harass me today. They tried me today. I don't even want to talk about it. I might talk about it later, but I ain't talking about it right now. So, but I voted. Is locked in. Ain't no switching up. So I'm so excited. Okay. So today is November 5th. It's election day. Election is underway across the USA. You know I don't have my handy dandy notebook because I couldn't find it. But I got my handy dandy iPad, which is just as good. So we're going to jump right in. The polls close at 8 p.m. where I am. 80 million votes have already been casted. Before we jump in, I just want to give you guys the information about where to vote. Hey, I had it up here. Hold on. Oh, I see what happened. I'm going to get into that. I started looking up the Mandela effect and how it ties into Elon Musk and the Elon Musk of it all that's going on right now. Let me just go look up the voting times because I had it. Okay, so voting gonna close at 7 p.m. for the following states. So if you are in Arizona, Illinois, Missouri, Virginia, Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Kansas, Mississippi, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, and Wyoming, voting will close for you very soon. So y'all better hurry up. Go. Don't even be on this live. Just go vote, then come back. Because I think I'm going to come back tonight too, just to kind of play. See, because sometimes voting takes about a week for everything to be counted. So if it's like a obvious win, I ain't coming back on it. Or maybe I will. No, I will. But if it's like we going to be a week out and we're not going to know, I'm not going to come back on tonight. So we'll see. If it's like tense, then I'll try to come back in after voting closes. So maybe really late night, maybe like 9:30, 10. Y'all put y'all notifications on because we might pop back in. Because I already was on here earlier today. Y'all missed it. I'm sorry. It was fun. But I was ranting and raving about my incident at the voting booth, which I recorded a video of it and it's on my page if you guys want to check it out. All right, so states with polls closing at 7:30 p.m. It's only a couple of them. So if you are in Arkansas, North Carolina, Ohio, or West Virginia, the polls will be closed today at 7:30 p.m. So you guys too, get off this live. Y'all go vote. I'll see you later. And then 8 p.m., you guys can hang out. Okay, so that's my people. That's Jersey, Connecticut, Louisiana, Maine, Alaska, California, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Idaho, Iowa, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota. That was hard to say, Massachusetts, Michigan. Minnesota, Montana, Nebraska, Oregon, Pennsylvania. If you are from Pennsylvania, the world is in your hands, baby. Y'all own the world. Y'all own the world because y'all know this election affects everything internationally, abroad, China relations with the whole world, Russia's relations with the whole world. Because if we not about it, they not about it. So Pennsylvania, do what y'all supposed to do, okay? Rhode Island, Utah, Tennessee, Washington, and Wisconsin. Everybody else can stay on the line, but if you from Pennsylvania and you ain't vote yet, get out of here. Y'all go vote now. I'll see y'all later. Okay? And then I think that's it for everybody. So that's your times. And then there's a few, I'm sure, exceptions where there's probably a state that's open to 9 p.m. But try to get your vote in by 8 p.m. so that there's no, the Tea Party state. Yes. Try to get that's the Boston Tea Party, or are you saying PA is the Tea Party state? So try to get y'all votes in. All right, now let's jump into our party. So we're going to jump right in. This usually I start with Trump, but by the end I'm so tired. So I'm going to start with Kamala today. Okay? Let's start. So the pros and cons of Kamala for this week. I do weekly highlights. I'm not doing the whole gamut. Maybe next week I'll do like the full rundown of both, or whoever the candidate that win is, we'll do like a breakdown of their whole pros and cons that I've been telling you over the last couple of months. So right now, she has her closing argument, and she had over 70K people there, and it was at the same location as the insurrection for January 6th, which I thought was pretty clever. Oh, and you guys don't know, my friends know, I talk about both people. I talk about everybody, Big Dave. So I'm as Kamala says, they asked her was she an Obamacrat. She says, I like to be referred as Kamala. I like to be referred to as Nico. I'll leave it there. So pros and cons. So some of the cons of her is Black and Latino men are not favorable to her. The polls are still leaning towards Trump. She's not getting a vote. Like, she might as well wrap it up. She might get some more liberal black men, and she might get more progressive thinking black men or modern black men. But the machismo of it all is not going to let those type of black men vote. It's either one or two things is going to happen. Either the machismo Latin and black men will vote for her, kind of like how white women are voting for her, low-key, undercover, under the table, or they won't vote for her at all, or they'll just sit this one out. Because a lot of, and we'll get into this when we get into the Trump of it all, a lot of white women who are like Republican, married to Republican men, are going in the voting booth and they're voting for Kamala low-key. Because, and they was even talking about it on Fox News, how we don't see a big polling of white women, and they were wondering why. And one of the white women basically said the reason you don't see her and her friends polling is because they're afraid to poll, because the people who are kind of monitoring them know everything about them. It was giving very much the Gilead. Y'all remember that movie? What was that? Handmaid's Tale? That's what it was giving when she was talking on Fox News. And another pro for Kamala was that Arnold Schwarzenegger, he endorsed her. So, you know, he has been a Republican before. So the fact that he endorsed her, that was pretty cool, I guess. And he's been talking a lot. Hold on, guys. He's been talking a lot. So we'll see if his endorsement helps her. Some cons for me was that damn Cardi endorsement. I hated it. Even though I posted it on my page, and I understand, I'm not one of them people that you don't have to be right, I still can relate. So I related to what she experienced. Like, she said she doesn't have like a high education in terms of like reading. She got nervous, and like she come from a low income family where she has 2 immigrant parents who don't speak no English. So English isn't even her first language. And so, you know, she does her rap songs, but the rap is just like something you rehearse like a poem. This was something different where it was just hard for her to like go off script because she didn't want to make no mistakes. And then her reading English in like paper form was hard for her to do. So she talked about that. But I personally didn't even think Kamala needed that endorsement. I didn't like that endorsement. I don't like that Glorilla endorsement either, if you were to ask me personally. Why she need that? It's giving, because you gotta remember, all these girls is like strippers and hoes. I don't want my daughter to be no stripper and hoe. There's nothing about Cardi I want my daughter to be. There's nothing. And even like I said, I relate to her because I even put the video of her on my page. But I don't want my child to be like her. And you don't either. Don't lie. Okay, and JD Vance talked about, this is a little bit of a con. JD Vance was talking about Kamala and saying that he did a 4-hour interview with Joe Rogan versus Kamala's non-existent interview with Joe Rogan, which I think is kind of a little unfair, because in that situation I kind of see both sides. Like Joe Rogan, he kind of is like the machismo man I talked about earlier, so of course he's gonna be supporting, not of course, he tried to come off bipartisan, but he is as bipartisan as like my mama, who got a whole room full of Obama on the wall. So he, you know what I mean, he's bipartisan-ish adjacent. So and I think that goes more about like having left-wing friends than him having left-wing ideology, because of the people he have on his show. So that is one thing JD Vance was bragging about. But I think it's a good move Kamala didn't go on Joe Rogan, because I feel like it was not necessary at that point. Like, what she got to say to this man? He was not going to be trying to support her. She already had that experience with the Fox News. Why would she put herself in that same predicament so close to the election? Again, Trump doesn't have to do interviews right now because we already know who he is. We in the decision with America right now is either you're going to go with the devil you know, or you're going to try to invest in somebody who have a new direction and a new future for the world. That's really the choices. She talked about, oh yeah, and I wrote this is a personal opinion. I said Joe Rogan, I didn't like really how he's playing in our face because I watched his interview and his reasoning for not having Kamala on, and I don't like it because I saw what was happening. I was, guys, I've been watching this in real time with you. So this is not like made up. This is not based on opinion. It's just straight facts. Like, I saw him invite her. I saw her try to reach back out to him and try to make a plan with him, and he wasn't with it. You know how somebody, you be like, oh my God, I want to go hang out with you. Let's go on a date. And you be like, all right, well, you let me know the date. And they let you know the date. They go, okay, we can do next Thursday. Thursday come, you like, oh, I can't do Thursday morning. Can you do Thursday night? You change the schedule Thursday night. Oh, I can't do Thursday night. Let me do Saturday. And then at a certain point, you're like, I'm not coming. I'm not going out with you. That's what was happening with Kamala. And to be fair, he did not set it up and make his home welcoming, because he kept saying she needs to come here. She was trying to compromise because she's on this blitz, unlike Trump, who, like I said, everybody already know Trump. He don't have to do another interview from here to Wazoo. We know who he is. She's the one that needs to do interviews, so he made the interview so difficult for her in the midst of her trying to do her campaign rallies and having either Joe Rogan or Beyonce. Who you gonna pick? She picked Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. That's what she picked. So he was making it so difficult for her to interview with him that she just said, whatever. And that's what I personally feel. So I don't like that now he's on this saying, I'm endorsing Trump. I've always been bipartisan. No, you have not. You had Elon on, you had JD on, you had Trump on. Come on, brother. You're not being bipartisan and you're not being honest. And that it kind of, and I used to like Joe Rogan. I still kind of do. I don't dislike anybody, really. But I didn't like that. So, what else we talked about? What else I looked up today? Yeah, I'm ranting and raving about Joe Rogan, honey, on my news. I would have music on, but they copyrighted me last time, so I'm not doing that again. So, that's pretty much it for Kamala. She didn't really have a lot of negative or positive. She's just kind of consistent. She's running her race. It's very consistent. It's not all over the place. That's why I usually do her last, because there's not much to report on. You're either going to vote for her at this point or you're not. I don't have to convince you. You know what the right thing to do is for you. That's all I can say. I don't want anyone to know who I'm saying. Taking over him. Oh, yeah. They said women have great... This is Fox News. Fox News said women have an extremely amazing momentum right now. The increase in women voting in general is what may take Kamala over. Because, this is why. I forgot to tell y'all. And this goes into Trump. So I'm going to talk about Trump. Trump will sum up Kamala, too. So that's the thing. He's so all-consuming with the media that even me researching I was like, what's going on with Kamala this week? Ain't nothing going on. She got her little endorsement from Schwarzenegger, and then her Cardi B endorsements. Joe Biden was the biggest controversy for her, calling America garbage. That was still off the back of the guy calling Puerto Rico garbage. So she's been consistent. No, nothing to sway her here or there. Meanwhile, Trump, my man Trump, that poor guy. He just can't, what's my granddaddy used to say? Something about the hole in the wall. He can't, something his butt from his hole in the wall. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's Trump sometimes. So, okay, here are he had his closing remarks this week as well. And that's what your grandma called it, Keita, delusional? Yes, basically. He don't know, I know the saying. My grandma used to say, you don't know from a hole in the wall. That's how Trump is right now. We're going to get into it. Okay, so he had his closing remarks in Raleigh, North Carolina. the pro is he was obviously endorsed by Elon, and Elon is running amok. Like he might be the best and the worst thing that happened to Trump. He's the best thing in terms of, y'all know I keep telling y'all every week, Trump wasn't paying for them locations, his venues. So Elon came in and cleaned that up. So that's been a blessing for him. The con for him is the negativity and the hate. Everybody, even Fox News, and y'all know, and even Sky Australia News, which is super right wing, they don't like his cussing, and they don't like that he's talking and swearing. And they definitely didn't like the Gawk 3000 he was doing with that microphone the other day. What was that? What was that? And this is why I say, just crashing out. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, oh my gosh, so embarrassing. So anyway, he keeps talking about how things about to get nasty. And if you I can't even be serious, like, this is the guy we voting for. So yeah, he said things about to get nasty, but it reminded me of Love Island. You guys watch Love Island? So there's a guy, I can't remember his name, last season, he kept saying things gonna get nasty around here. And I think that's how Trump is, basically. He said he just talking his talk. Joe Rogan endorsed him. That's a pro. Let's just go over the pros. So the pro is Elon continues to support him. Elon has been doxing the whole internet, what it feels like, and basically he has control over all the algorithms, and because of that, he's kind of pushed Trump to be in the foreground, where all his videos are going viral, all his tweets are going viral, because he literally has control over a big part of the internet, and he's controlling that algorithm. So you look, see how my views just dropped. Exactly. So you mentioned any truth, it's like we're in the Matrix now. And Kanye West said this. He said, this is no longer a battle of... He said, this is World War III. He said, this is World War III. He said, it's no longer a battle of a physical battle. It's a 4D battle of the mind. They call that man crazy, but he sounds pretty sane to me. So, okay. Also, some other pros about him were he has the ability to draw in huge crowds. That's what he's known for. So that momentum has increased, where he's been doing things like Madison Square Garden. He has his own Beachella, aka Coachella, for Trump. He has women for Trump. So all these huge entities are coming in to support Donald Trump. So that has been a big pro for him. So he that's why his engagement is really up. Again, social media, every video I watch, this is not like, I'm not making this up. So go look at his Joe Rogan interview, and go look at Cat Williams, Shannon Sharp interview, and look at those numbers. And that's what Joe Biden, that was like one of the hugest interviews, the Cat Williams ones of the year, right? So if you look at that interview, and then you look at the numbers for what Trump has for that Elon Musk interview, for the Joe Rogan interview, you will see that he's on social media, he's blowing the media outlets out, because the news outlets aren't even getting as much coverage as Donald Trump is on social media. So, and I think they learned that from the Obama era, where Obama did Twitter. He took Twitter by storm. I think that's why Elon wanted to control Twitter and things like that. And Elon also talked to that in his Joe Rogan interview, where he is essentially really scared that if they lose the election, this administration is going to get rid of X. And he's scared of that. So he doesn't want X to go away because of all the control. It's essentially the main news media outlet that people use these days, which Trump doesn't use as much. Like he has his own site. His site is called, I believe, Truth. And so he uses that. And I'm on those too, because again, when I'm researching this, guys, I'm not looking at it as like me. I'm looking at it as how would I feel as a person that wants this to be my president? How would I feel as a person that wants this person to be my president? So that's kind of how I look at it. So No. That's not. You can't say that, Irish, because black people feel like that every day about the Constitution of our actual manhood, like our womanhood. Like, shut up. You can't talk. Whatever. They called us 3/4 human in the Constitution. So that's our fear. I feel like our fear is more important than that fear. Like the fear of being called 3/4 man, lesser than a donkey. I'm voting for Kamala. Screw your freedom of speech. Like, duh. Like, dude, read it. What is it? First chapter? Like, let me see. It's like second chapter in the Constitution. Categorizing them. I hate when people make that. That's just, you can't make the argument to black people. If you read the Constitution, you cannot make that to black people. Let me see which section. It's the... I really hate that example. It's like, screw your free speech. All right, so it's Article 1, literally the first paragraph in the article. The first section in the article, Section 2. Section 2! Thank you. Meaning, the second thing that they thought about when they woke up and they said, we gonna draft the Constitution this morning. Oh, number one. Whatever. Number two, these Negroes can't be human beings up in this country. And you want me to care about your freedom of speech? We don't care. We care about being 3/4 men, because that's on the books for us. That's not on the books for you. So, neither here nor there. I'm going to be riled up, ready to go. Anyway, so I just think you guys have to be more sensitive to that kind of stuff. Like, and there we have it. We know. The thing is, nobody can teach us about racism. We know. We be trying to teach y'all about racism. We be trying to teach y'all 3/5. Yes, we be trying to teach y'all about racism. Oh, we be trying to teach y'all. You understand? And the more I'm realizing as I get older, and I had this conversation with my mom the other day. I said, I believe that, you know how like they say now we're in this place of like gentle parenting, right? Where we don't want to spank our kids anymore. We are being gentle with our kids to break the generational curses. When are you guys going to break your own generational curses? And what I mean by that is, for example, you know why America was great? Because we were shutting the hell up. My mother, if she spoke up the way I'm speaking up, she would be strange fruit. Okay? So we were coaxed to be silent. And we did. We did everything. We cleaned your clothes, walked your dogs. We did everything we were supposed to do as human beings in this country. Now, I'm not going to block you because you need to see yourself and hear yourself. Okay? And people need to see you. And people need to follow you. And people need to dox you. And whatever they do. Because people like you need attention and need to be seen. So, you can be seen. So now, the thing about it is, what happened in order to get us that silent in the first place, because we were not silent people, we were, it's love, it's light, it's joy, right? Came over here, we were abused, brutalized, beaten, and quieted. So we shut up to survive. So we know how to shut up. We do that very well. We do that every day in corporate America. We shut the heck up. And now we're at a place where we're almost brought back there again. To learn about ourselves, to finally discover ourselves, to know what hair products work for us, to know what skin cream, we already knew our skin, we already had bomb skin, but we even developed it even more. That's why all y'all using shea butter now. Y'all weren't using shea butter, baby. We've been using it. So you add shea butter to that water. And then on top of that, we started finding ourselves and learning more things. Knowledge is power. And the more we learned, the scarier it got for us and the realer it got for us, and the things that our ancestors taught us have become to be very obvious to us. Especially if you on a neurodivergent spectrum and you can connect dots. It all is coming at you so fast with this age of information. So now we're at a place where we like, okay, we speaking up for ourselves. We have good jobs. We have careers. We are successful. We're breaking generational curses. We're gentle parenting, but you guys won't gentle parent us. It's this aggressiveness, it's this abusiveness to shut us up and silence us, right? So now, in order to shut us up, because you can't do it sweetly, you can't do it with the laws, because when you try to get rid of them books, they started having a fit, right? Even today, I went to our voting booth was in the library, and there was so many books that I've read over. Mice and Men, y'all remember Mice and Men with Lenny? That is banned in the library. It was up there, all the banned books. Push, Precious, that's that book. That's banned in the library. The Protagonist, that's banned in the library. It was another one, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. That is literally on a sheet, banned in the library. So anything that disturbs the peace is going to be banned and become mean, nasty, low down, aggressive. Like Donald Trump, we about to get nasty, and it's getting nasty. And that's what my experience was today in the voting booth, is the nasty energy, because there is an awakening on both sides. And let me even be honest with you. If the Republicans lose this today, you guys will not be the Republicans of today. You guys will be the Republicans of the older days. Did you know? You sitting here rocking to the Republicans, and I don't even know if you know, this was the first theory that I learned in school, is that in 1854, anti-slavery activists who opposed Kansas and Nebraska because Nebraskan people were trying to expand the chattel, 3/5 man of slavery, into western territories of Kansas and Nebraska, right? So because they were trying to expand their territories of slavery to Nebraska, they created a anti-slavery act. And you know who mandated that? The Republicans. The Republicans were the party of the abolitionists. They were the party of anti-slavery. So you are, again, y'all copy us, y'all take us, we move on. You know what's going to happen? Y'all going to start being Democrats soon. And then it's going to flip back to the Republican. That's why you see all these black people supporting Republicans now. But it's going to end because they're not happy with what the Democrats are doing now. So what's going to happen is going to be that flipped again, where the Republican Party, we eventually go back to its original roots, which is the anti-slavery abolitionist party in the first place. So you sitting here with all this anti-rhetoric, but you're on the backs of my people, the anti-slavery abolitionists. And you know why we stopped being Republicans in the 1960s? Because y'all bombed them little girls and didn't do nothing about it. Okay, in the 1960s. Learn your history. If you're a nationalist, I'm a realist. Now let's get back to it. So I say all that to say, you abuse, you heal, you abuse again. So it's like, okay, you guys brutalized us with slavery, gave us our freedom in the 1960s, shackled us up in Jim Crow, and then shackled us up again in the 80s with the drug epidemic. And then now we got our freedom, the Clinton era, beautiful, new horizon. Then it shackled us back up with the Bush administration. Then freedom again, and we all unity, 9/11 happens. Now you want to shackle us up again, right? And then with the idea of war, and we need to fight against other people of color. Same thing Muhammad Ali said, right? Then you're like, okay, well, they getting out of control. Let's hope Dream Obama they behind. Okay? And then you're like, oh, no, it's too much hope, too much Obama. Let's Trump they behind. Literally, Trump us. And then good old Joe Sleepy, he said, let's get up out of this sleep. And y'all want to be sleep, like Sleepy Joe. Because y'all sure don't want to be woke. All right. So, okay. So now, back to Trump. So his positives. Another positive for him is, I don't know if this is a positive for Republicans because you guys don't really like her anyway. She's like the Nancy Pelosi of the Republicans. Nikki Haley endorsed him. So that was a positive for Trump. So I love that. And she was like I like how she prefaced it because he was dogging her out. He was saying all kind of nasty things about her, but she kept it really classy. She said, you know, based on how I personally feel, like I don't think Trump is for me. But neither is Kamala. So she didn't really like super endorse him, but she just let the ladies know, like I said earlier, I'm a little nervous because I can't say what I want to say, but I have to go for Trump because I'm sorry, Nikki Haley. If Trump said the things about me that he's saying about you, there is no way in God's green earth that I would be supporting that man. You can't talk about me like that and then expect me to support you. That is actually the definition of insanity. So, but neither here nor there, she gave the vote. So they said on the news, they were talking about Trump is essentially stealing, I guess this is Reagan. I never really seen a picture of this president, but I'm assuming this is Reagan. So they said he is trying to get the nostalgia vote right now. I'll pull it up this way. Because, and I didn't know this, he stole Reagan's slogan. Did you guys know that? They said he's not nothing. They said he doesn't have an authentic bone in his body. They said everything about him is plagiarized. See? I didn't know. Did you guys know that? I had no idea. So that's what it is. So he just took the "let's" off. But the "Make America Great Again," that apparently is Reagan. I think that was Reagan, y'all, right? And so as of current, a little bit like anxiety is coming over the Republican Party because right now there's not a clear lead. Like both of them are neck and neck. But as of a couple of hours ago, the poll is saying that it's 47% Harris and 44% Trump. So that puts Harris in the lead. I know you guys were wondering because I had to look all over the place just to get a couple of numbers. And this I had to get from Sky News, which is an Australian, which is why I'm happy with these numbers. And I picked this particular poll because it's an Australian red-wing leaning news outlet. They love Trump. They support Trump. They're all about Trump. And so if he was in the lead, they would say that he was in the lead. But this is what you can see is Sky News right here. So you can see I'm not lying. And this is the poll. So this is where we at. So, but they say no clear lead. So that's why I said it like that. So you guys can screenshot that. That was as of 1:50 today. Okay? So that was the latest. We're showing a slight lead for Harrison. And Iowa, they pick Iowa because it's a good streamline of it's like a microcosm of America. They usually vote prediction based on who will win the presidency. So that's why they used Iowa. What else about Trump? Okay, so I have some cons about him. If you guys want to hang around. I know, here we go. Because whenever I say something negative about Trump, here they come. Okay, so cons. So he, again, I told you he used too many curse words. His own base is kind of getting turned off for him. Women are very turned off for him, especially within his base. White women they're not happy with him. He had his closing rally, but there were so many empty seats, which is opposite of what Trump is known for. He usually has so many positive, so many people in the crowd and things like that. But nope, he did not have people in those seats. His con was the word garbage. That's like a word everybody's using this week. Like he used it in his rally, he used it last week, he used it on Kamala, his comedian used it, Joe Biden used it. So the word of the week is garbage, kids. Garbage. So that's what he's been throwing that word around. People are not feeling that. Every single news outlet mentioned the word garbage, even Fox, and we're really upset that he continues to use that because they feel like it's extremely divisive, like commentary that he's saying. So he needs to stop it. Well, it's over now, so whatever. Donald Trump, the whole Hinchcliffe poor joke, that was a big news media outlet thing this week. People were pissed. I even posted about it on my page, which is crazy. People were really, really upset about that. JD Vance got on the call-in Kamala Harris trash thing, so he's been talking about her like a dog. They all are this week. PA is going to be a deciding factor on who wins the election. So you guys, you go out and vote. All you guys PA people, go out and vote. He had his MSG rally, which we talked about last week. A lot of women are talking about, and I put that as a con. Need I say more? It was a con. Legit. It was so terrible. The MSG rally, like, that's where all the crap happened. That's where he had the bootleg Suge Knight from Death Row come out. That's where he had, I don't even know, the Thomas guy, the poor comedian. That's where he had all these politicians sitting there talking about Haitians and Puerto Ricans. It was just a mess. It was so bad. Oh, I forgot that guy, Bad Bunny, or who? I don't remember his name. But there's a Latin Trump supporter who's like super, super MAGA. He he took away his endorsement. So that happened this week as well. The media cycle are brutal on him. They're showing clips of him talk about, oh, you need to drink bleach during COVID. They're acting up. They're like on fire. I will say Trump has social media. Kamala has the media. That's the difference. This is the big thing that he made a mistake on this week. He is getting huge backlash from saying, I will protect you whether you like it or not. It's funny because if a man said that to you, you like, But Trump saying that was not sexy, baby. I get what he was trying to say. Like, I got you. I'm your man. But we don't like that no more. Like, we want that from our man, but not that man. He don't need to say that to us. That sounds scary. He cannot protect it. Whether we like it or not, you gonna protect us? That's my man's job, baby. You don't need to do that for me. So women are now, I'm talking about Republican women do not like that. They is mad he said that. They said, you will not protect me. Okay, Joy Reid, I was watching her. I'm sorry, guys. I know y'all hate Joy Reid. I know y'all hate all them Fox News, MSNBC people. But I talk about Fox News people, too. I just don't remember their names. But Joy Reid said, I don't know if y'all been watching her lately, but she been having these, like, little cadences in the beginning of her shows. And I don't know if she's, like, in a rap battle or something, but she'd be like, duh, 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 duh. So she said, this is one of the bars she had. She said, Elon, a former illegal immigrant today, was on Joe Rogan podcast. The way she said it, though, why she call him a former illegal immigrant? She said he was here in the country for about 6-7 months illegally. I don't even know months. She probably said years. 6, 7 something. A long time he was here for. Illegally. And she said he just recently got his citizenship. So she was like, and for him to be talking about migrants. So she was talking her talk. She talked about that Trump, she had to admit that Trump will dominate the male vote. They also, this is all her show. So when I say Joy Reid, I'm talking about her and her pundit. So I'm not going to name each of them. So another guy said, they feel Trump is the common sense guy. And I said to that today, because, she has both Republicans and Democrats. I say to that Republican guy that, my grandma used to say, sense ain't that common. So if Donald Trump is the common sense guy, I got to tell you, sense ain't that common. That's all I know. And she talked about the control of the algorithm to boost Trump's content, which I see for myself. Like, you could, like I said, compare the Cat Williams to the Trump. You could see it. And she said that was all essentially Elon Musk is doing. She also talked about regulation that is going to be on both sides and like monitoring the voting booths and things like that, and just making sure that it's properly regulated so that in the future, because like I tell you guys every week, we know it, this is not the end, this is just the beginning. The election will not deter Donald Trump. He's going to ride this wave probably to January 6th, probably to January 8th. And she said something that I thought was really interesting. She said, one thing, did I write that down here? Let me see. Where did I write it at? I don't know, but it's in my brain right now. I'll come to the note when I come to the note. But she said, one thing about, oh yeah, here you go. She said, if he isn't the king, he will either be the king maker or he not going anywhere. I love that because it's so true. Donald Trump is either going to be the king or the king maker in 2028. So just because he loses his election does not mean he is going anywhere. He's not going nowhere. He need to go somewhere, but he ain't going nowhere. We got to get comfortable with him. He's going to be sending, if he's not the president, because he knows. So he's going to send people in Congress. He's going to send Democrats who are, because these people are not Republicans, Democrats anymore. You have to remember, these are Trumpocrats. Just like they had Obamacrats, he stole that too. So now he got Trumpocrats. So the Trumpocrats are going to infiltrate, meaning they're going to be Democrats and Republicans. Meaning when he gets somebody, he's going to have them run as a Democrat to get in the House if they're in the Democratic state. But they're going to be aligned with the Trumps, the ideology of whatever that means. Same kind of thing with the Republican people. He's going to have allegiance to who he is, and they are going to get in the office, the Congress, the Senate, because they are aligned with his apprenticeship, right? The apprentice. That's what he do. He's a kingmaker. It's kind of like I told you guys last week. I think I did tell you guys this. He said he loved having his wives into celebrities. And he said, the reason I love turning my wives into celebrities is because I'm an architect and I do buildings. This is what I do for a living. He said, I love beautiful things and building infrastructures, an edifice, to see it at its full glory, its full beauty. And he said, that's what he does with his wives. He takes his wife, a plain Jane girl, and he makes her into this. And he said, that's what he's going to do for himself one day if he ever runs for president. And he did that. So if he loses this battle, you think that desire and building things, he just like he got into the real estate industry and he became fanatical about it, he's going to get into the king making business and become fanatical about it. So he's not just going to make kings in America, he's going to make kings in Korea, he's going to make kings in China, right? This is just the beginning. So I just say, be prepared. Because there's stuff we can do about that. We can make sure if you're not the one running for a seat, you can still try to be a kingmaker yourself. Encourage somebody. You might see somebody, oh, you should run for something. You should run for something, or you should run for yourself for something, right? That's the beauty about America. We don't have to allow him to be the dictator, the kingmaker. We can step in and make changes for ourselves, because that's the beauty of America. Okay, so what else they talked about with him? Oh, they talked about Elon Musk. He was mind melding with millions of Americans for his own enrichment. So essentially what that means is whatever you're seeing on your newsfeed, if you're seeing me, I don't know how you're seeing me, girl. Congratulations. You have picked the red pill, baby, because you are not in the Matrix. So I don't know how you're seeing me, but congratulations. So, but if you are not like me, called me last night. Oh, did he really? On like a bot call? Exactly. It says he ain't called me. He ain't got my number. I ain't on the line. You already know. Elon been playing with me. Elon been playing. Okay, last time this happened. Did I tell y'all guys this earlier? This is a personal story. So you guys remember Rose McGowan? I loved her. I loved her. I'm sorry, she was my girl. So my name's Rose too. So my real name is Rose. So well, it's a longer version of that, but essentially I'm Rose. That's hilarious. Told y'all, you better come over here and get you on the red pill now. How you get over here? Hey girl, how you get on this side of the they got you over here with the woke folk? Child, Lord. So with Rose McGowan, I loved her. I just loved her. And when she started talking about the Me Too movement back in the day, I believed her. Y'all didn't have to tell me that. And I'm an artist, so I started, y'all can't see my phone, but I draw stuff sometime. Like I like stuff. So I drew a picture of her, a beautiful picture, and it was like this rose, and it was just gorgeous. And I put her name, and I put like a message to her, and how I support her and loving her, and I tagged her in it, and she liked it. And I was like, yay, she saw it. And it was just basically saying, I don't care if the world don't believe you, I believe you. And I said, and I love you, and you're a beautiful woman, and I know you can hold, basically carry mountains on your shoulders, is what I told Rose McGowan. She liked my post, and I was just happy with that. The next day, my whole phone was HTML, and I have an Apple. So imagine this whole screen. You wake up in the morning, you try to go. This whole thing is HTML. It was creepy. I could not get on the phone. I couldn't when I picked up the phone on my this is back when we had land. I still had my landline. It was like chirp crickets. I showed my mother the phone. I showed my brother the phone, so I had proof. And I was like, oh my! So it scared me because I was still young. So it scared me. So I said, oh, I'm never doing this again. I said, I just deleted the comment for Rose McGowan. I deleted my Instagram page, and I never posted on social media again. And when was that? Me Too movement was like 2016, 17. And I haven't posted since then about anything. 2006. So this should show you I had just graduated. Like I was a kid. So it scared me off the internet for years and years and years because they hacked. I couldn't talk. And then when I finally did get on, my Google had like pictures of Rose McGowan on it with like her, instead of like it being Google and it just being like the words, it had pictures of Rose McGowan. It was the creepiest thing. And like I don't feel weird telling you guys this because I have proof. Like my mom saw it, my brother saw it, and I showed them this. And they scared for me. So they were like, girl, get off this. Get off this. And so I stopped. But this time around, I said to myself, I'm not scared of Elon. I'm not scared. Because at this point, who gonna talk? Who gonna say it? We don't talk, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about you guys will, or not you guys, but people who, subscribe to that mentality will tell us to be free. There's no such thing as racism. Racism doesn't exist, but you will block the bluest eye. We can't read Toni Morrison. We can't learn about Martin Luther King. Silent. So when you are trying to suppress, because history in the eye and the successor, blacks are not the successor in this country, but we have succeeded. So when you try to suppress people who succeed, we're going to continue to rise up, right? And lift and scream and shout and let it all out. So because of that, you're never going to be able to really suppress us the way y'all want to suppress us. And that's what's happening with me. Y'all shut me down with the Rose McGowan thing. You had me insecure about it. saying and speaking and using this voice of mine. But this time around, I'll be bulletproof. At the end of the day, if you don't speak for something, I literally, like I said it earlier, I was like, I'd rather stand tall than die on my knees. And that's the bottom line. Like, you gotta fight for something in this world. You can't be afraid. You gotta speak up. Because if you don't say it, I'm talking about you, whoever watching is you. If you don't say it, who's going to say it? If Martin Luther didn't say it, who would have said it? If X didn't say it, who would have said it? So that's how I kind of see the world now. And I think part of that comes with having a child. Because I'm not fighting for me no more. I'm fighting for her future and what's right for her. So they talked about, continuing on, they talked about regulations on both sides and just making sure they manage these booths correctly. Because you heard about that fire last week. There were like throwing literally like fireworks into the election boxes. So hopefully there's none of that going on this time around. They are amplifying, the media said that they're going to try to amplify their voices today because they feel like Donald Trump, because he's so weak with women right now, he's going to do a stunt. Maybe tonight he'll have a podcast with a woman on, like that's a famous podcast. I'm thinking maybe Call Her Daddy or something that's going to maybe endorse him, because she really didn't endorse anybody even though she had Kamala on. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that coming, because now with Elon's money, let's see how much money do Elon got. Y'all know? What is Elon's net worth? Let's see. Woo! He got money. I pray, Vanessa. I pray he lose. Especially after the day I had. If y'all go watch my video on my page, you'll see why I want him to lose. I ain't give a damn. But now I just really want him to lose. So he's worth... Shish! So don't be surprised if he paid off Joe Rogan. Don't be surprised if he paid off this Call Her Daddy girl. And that's the feeling I have. Because that would be a pretty big endorsement. If in like an hour or two, all of a sudden you get a drop from Call Her Daddy saying I'm supporting Trump, whew, that's going to tip. But I feel like everybody can be bought. Or if not bought, caught. So I feel like when you're dealing with that kind of money, it gets a little dangerous. So I feel like with Call Her Daddy, she could succumb to that kind of peer pressure to endorse him. So I would not be surprised if we get somebody like that endorsing him in a couple of hours. I talked about this Kanye stuff in terms of informational warfare that we're in. He talked about, I gotta look up this word. Purveyor. Because they keep talking about Elon Musk being a purveyor. Let's see. Purveyor means a person who sells or deals in particular goods. A person or a group that spreads or promote an ideology. Okay, yeah, he is a good purveyor. So they say Elon Musk will be a great purveyor for a dictator. But who is everybody? Beyonce? That's the only one she had that was worth somebody. She had low lives. We didn't want them people. So they say Elon Musk might be a greater purveyor for dictator. So I think that's interesting, because if the definition of purveyor is a person that groups or spreads or promotes an idea, a view, he really is he's a great purveyor right now for Donald Trump. They also talked about the Republican Party are not going to support a Democratic election. And like I told you guys before, who you talking to? You talking to me? Who you people? That's racist. I'm just joking. Anyway, Republican Party are not going to support a Democratic election. We know that, though. This is all like just chats from different news outlets. MSNBC, Fox News. These are my general notes now. We're on to general notes. It says, thank God. Oh, this was a good point that somebody made on the panel. They said it's going to be a good thing that Joe Biden is in office right now, because he will defend the guard. So if Kamala wins, as long as he's in office, he will do his best to defend the guard. I think if we had a Republican person in, they would not agree with it, and it would go straight to Trump. But because of Joe Biden, we may be okay without like it getting into the Civil War territory. Now, I didn't think about that before, because the commander in chief is still a Democrat, so it's not gonna get too wild out there in the streets. if he loses. Corporate America also backs Trump. I'm going to tell y'all that. Isn't that crazy? Y'all know what that means? That means Google, Goldman Sachs, Chase Bank, Bank of America. Okay. So, yeah. So that's the big conglomerates, big, huge corporations like Exxon and Elon. No, I'm just joking. They're all kind of, which makes sense. They want the tax breaks. Like, they don't want to pay to support broke Americans. Us brokies down there, as Lotto calls us. You know, it's okay. But like John Legend says, he supports the brokies because at the end of the day, he said that he wants to support the people who he grew up with, his actual community, not this new rich community he's created for himself, because he knows that most of the people who he loves and are in his life are not rich like the Trump of it all. They're brokies like you and me, like you, John Jones. We broke. You rich? Let me see. How much money you got? What's your bank account? You broke too. So you need to be voting Kamala. Anyway, so Joe Biden, corporate America. Okay, so he said he doesn't care. Yeah, he's not going to care who claimed it's election. There is deep cultural rot. Oh, interesting. In his criticisms. And I think that's true. It says he didn't change us, he revealed us. Ooh, I don't know who said that on the panel, but that's what my notes say. So somebody said it on MSNBC. So he said there's deep cultural rot in in Trump's criticism of America, calling us garbage, Avi. And then he said Trump didn't really change us. He revealed who we are. Hallelujah. That's true. So now after that, what else did I research? Oh yeah, they said he's trying to make us forget that he had a poor approval rating during his election. He was at 47% disapproval rating compared to, I guess, Obama. And then now he's at like a 48% rating above Joe Biden. And it's almost like people are saying, that's why I told you guys about that nostalgia vote. People are at a point where they're saying, oh my gosh, like he was so great. But when he was in office, there was like, they played a clip, and I don't know if I can put it here, and then because they've been like copyrighting me a lot on this page and I don't want to lose it, but it is what it is. If I lose it, I'll just create a new one. But I do have a YouTube, and I'm going to take you guys over there soon anyway, so we don't have to worry about all of this. But because TikTok is getting really, 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 really strict, because I think they're also in bed with Elon right now. So it is what it is. But yeah, so his approval rate was so low, and they had all these clips of all these different people bashing Trump, like DeSantis. It was crazy. All his boys that's going for bat for him right now were eating him up back in 2016, and they showed the clip, and they were saying people are forgetting, so he's counting and betting on the nostalgia vote and not what actually the reality of what happened. You know, and I think that's because, especially now with Kamala being a black woman, they don't give a damn about what he was doing in 2016. It's about getting the white man back in power. And that's the bottom line, if we're being honest. And I think even white women are sick of them. Because I was thinking white men is really all they got. They all they got. And they use brute force. Sorry, white men, if y'all want to hear. But it's true. Y'all, all y'all got right now. Like, I feel you. Like, I understand why y'all going so hard against the world. But we can't go back. I'm sorry, we can't go back. We're not going back. All right. This is an election about classism. That's what I talked about on my video where I'm getting harassed by the election worker earlier this morning. I was saying that this is not because it was black women around me that were kind of a little standoffish and nervous, and they didn't want to support me. At the end, the black girl did come through for me. But it was very, like, she was so nervous, like, to step in when this white guy was literally harassing me. So this what made me think about, okay, this is no longer, and this is probably what our parents had to deal with in the 60s. When there's black people there, all these black people, they letting this white man bully me. I couldn't believe it, because I never have seen my whole lifetime. My whole lifetime, I never seen black people not stand up for a black person. This was the first time ever. And they just looking crazy. So it made me think this election is not about like race anymore. It's about classism. And in another Kanye quote, Kanye says classism is the cousin of racism. And I love that. And so we talked about, oh, I was looking up earlier the Jill Stein Green Party. Child, she out here. She is out here separating the vote, dividing the vote, talking something they have a right to vote for me, which is fine, but like, come on, you gotta endorse somebody. You in the last day, and you as the Green Party aren't gonna endorse anybody. Like, come on, like, let it go. So she did not. She just down her Green Party, and you see all these young, modern, kind of hippie-ish kids, kind of probably how I would have been in college. They are all going for Jill Stein, and so we'll see how that works out. See, now they're not letting me verify. Y'all see that? Okay, they let me go. Who just followed me? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hey, HMS. Thank you. Okay. Also, they said they were talking about, this is all like Jill Stein people. They just talk a little bit out their butts. I thought it was funny though. She was saying how there's 11 million jobs or whatnot. Why don't we just put 11 million migrants in them jobs? I was thinking, Negro, shut up. She ain't black. I think she did say she was Native American one time, but neither here nor there. But I thought that was so interesting. I'm like, come on. We don't want the migrants at them jobs. We need them jobs. Then whatever's left over, we can get to the migrants. But that's kind of how she thinking. She really is going to let the floodgates open. So I don't know how anybody's voting for her. Hold on, y'all. I got a cough attack. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to get a juice. I got a green juice. I forgot I had that in there. It's like, I'm gonna drink this. It's like celery, cucumber, mango. Oh, something else. Pineapple. That's right. So you guys like green juice. That's a good combination. Okay, what else? So now, oh, this is gonna be fun. A few things about me. So I want to get a little personal with y'all since it's the last day. I know I'm very passionate, and I appreciate everybody's support in my page. The reason I am so passionate, I tell the people who've been here know why. I'm telling y'all, my mom was a part of politics at a very, very young age. She was a part of SNCC back in the 1960s, and she told me so many of her stories. And so for me, this isn't just like policy. This is real life. So I know what segregation looks like and how it makes a person feel because I grew up under the roof of a segregated mom who was impacted of the traumas of segregation. And I grew up with a mom whose mother told her Martin Luther King came in town and my mom wanted to go visit him. And she said, oh, don't you go up there and mess with that troublemaker. So my mom became the troublemaker. Where she did SNCC when she got to high school. But she was 7 or 8 years old and Dr. King was in town and she couldn't see him. She was upset. And so I hear these stories, and then that's one extreme. Then on the flip side, you got my dad, who was one of the first black sergeants in his unit in Vietnam War. who talks about little stuff like how the Latin boys would come over and join the military, and then by the end of their tour, they wouldn't be Latin boys no more. They would be white boys, and how they would start coming and bullying them and hitting on them and beating on them. This is my America. That's the America y'all want to make it great again. The America that my mom went through, the America that my dad went through. My uncle grew up in Sanford, Florida, the same town that Trayvon Martin passed away in. Okay? My uncle, him and my daddy look like twins. They brothers, though. My uncle was 9 years old, and the rest of the soul, they passed away now. They gone. They locked my uncle in a refrigerator because he wanted to get an ice cream. He didn't know it was whites only. Kids don't learn about whites only. Kids don't know about whites only. You have to teach whites only. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning. You give and then you take. You pull and push. So now we're going too far with y'all with the freedoms and how we are showing up in the world. So now you got to punish us and beat us back into submission. And that's all this is. So if you are supporting Trump, you are only trying to beat us back into submission. And what I'm trying to tell you on this page, with or without Trump, we ain't going back. If he the president tomorrow, we ain't going back. If he the president in 2028, we ain't going back. We don't care. We ain't going back. Because we've been there. And it wasn't fun for us. It wasn't great for us. Nothing was great for us back then. Then you talk about, I love the black people, the Republicans, especially the ones that like to talk about, oh, but back then the families were together. Unless you needed help as a woman. Right? My grandma was married to my granddad, who was a pastor. They fell on some hard times. But before he became a pastor, they fell on some hard times. And he was an immigrant here. She was an American-born citizen, worked on the cotton fields, legit picked cotton, my grandmama. And my granddaddy was picking oranges. He did that in his country. He came over and he picked oranges, so he made a good amount of money. Like the watermelon man that used to make, black men used to make a fortune on watermelon until they literally would take you out. And then they took over the watermelon business from us. That was the only thing we could do that they didn't bother us with, because they felt like watermelon was just trash fruit. But we made killings over it. Same thing with my granddaddy. We made killings over the orange trees, and a lot of black men in Florida did. And what happened was the white man said, oh, these Negroes making too much money on these oranges. Let's take the groves from them, okay? Let's put laws where they can't even touch the trees no more. Did you know that most of the trees in America are male plants? Do you know that? So they don't breed with female plants? So that you and me, because if male and female plants were together, we'd have fruit at every tree in America. These trees are all male trees, so they don't produce. Only female trees produce. So they killed all the trees in America that are females. And we only have male trees, and the female trees that we do have, the farmers control those fruits. The fruits of our labor. They control it. Otherwise, we have fruits on every single tree out there that was next to a man tree. And this is what they try to do with us women. They starting with Roe v. Wade, but they're trying to kill the fruits of our labor so that they have control over who populates and which women get to spread their seeds. They choose which fruits we eat. The trees don't choose no more. God don't choose no more. They choose. Okay? So stuff like that. So when I think about making America great again, I ain't never see it. When I think of making America great again, I think about my childhood. I think about the freedom I had when I was in Florida and playing in the 90s. And it was right after the crack epidemic. And people were going back to work. They were getting recovered. They were healthy. Everybody had jobs and money. And they had good corporate careers. They could be bankers. And they had struggles. So we had to have things like affirmative action in place. But my America being great again would be not needing affirmative action but still getting a job. Not needing affirmative action but still getting a promotion. So if you guys can make that America happen, I'll buy into that. And so for me, this page is a love story. It's a love letter to my mom. It's a love letter to my dad. It's a love letter to my grandma and my granddaddy and all the trials and tribulations that they had to go through to be here, for you to wear your flag, because my daddy fought for you to wear it. Legit. Did I tell you, did I ever show y'all my Russian hat? I said I was gonna show y'all last time. I think in honor of it being an election, I should show y'all my Russia hat. It's from my daddy. I'll be right back. Oh, let me pause it. Let me pause. Okay, I'm back. My dad passed away, by the way, guys, in 2020. Not of COVID, but of a kidney failure from Agent Orange. So he was exposed in the, what was the Vietnam, the 60s, I believe, 60s, 70s, to something called Agent Orange. So it created a lot of sickness and illness in him. And one of the sickness was kidney disease and kidney failure. So he needed a liver transplant and wasn't able to get one. The doctors gave him 5 years to live. He lived exactly 5 years, and then he passed away. And it just so happened that it was in the midst of COVID, right? And so my dad, and this is how he is, and like I said, this is a love letter to him. I don't know how he would feel about Joe Biden right now with everything, but he did tell me before he passed away, don't get my death certificate with no Trump on it. This is a Vietnam vet, baby, who got nothing but white friends in Florida. Okay, he said, don't get my death certificate with no Trump on it. He's like, just wait till Biden wins. Or he had already won, but he said, just wait till Biden get in, and then wait to file for my death certificate. Okay? And my daddy is a true American. This is his hat from Russia. So I have all his stuff. I was his beneficiary. I did all that. This is it. This is like him. Remember Rocky? That's how he says Russia is. If you guys watch that Rocky movie. So this is him. So my dad went over there. Beautiful country. Beautiful people. Imagine a black man in the 60s rocking this. How about that? So my dad is all that, y'all. I'm not even going to hold you. Like, he was pretty fly. So this is his military hat. This is his little scarf that he had on before he passed. When I tell you, I'm not even joking. He is a real nationalist. Not all what y'all talk about. This is my daddy. What does it say? Freedom, freedom, I can't lose. Freedom, can't be used. Hey, hey. Y'all see that? Freedom is not free, baby. Why my dad had this on him? My dad wore this every day. Basically my whole life. You see how clean it is? This is 30 plus years old. That's how clean my daddy was. He was with it. So he said freedom is not free, okay? Because he had to do the fighting for y'all freedom. But y'all standing here and vote for a man he don't even support. But that's none of my business. I voted for the right man. Let me take my daddy's name off. So, I can't. It's sewn in. Oh, wow, it's sewn on. I like the fake ones. So that's how you know it's real. I'm going to just flip it over so you can't see my dad's name. But this is his military. Ooh, this is his military coat. This is what he wore in the 1960s. Look how clean it is. This is from like 1960s, y'all. You see how clean that is? That just show you this kind of man y'all dealing with. Okay? That's my daddy coat. And so I wear it sometimes in honor of him when I miss him and stuff. So this is his. So I have real military stuff. No cap, no joking. I am an American. And my dad told me nobody, not you, not anybody can ever tell me anything different. Because I lived with a man that fought for this country. And if he can fight for the country, the least y'all can do is respect it. Okay? All right, so last part. I'm running a little behind. It's already 3. I'm usually out of here by 3. I think, anything else I want to tell y'all? Oh, this is the fun part. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, So I have a theory. This is my crazy. This ain't nothing to do with Kamala or Trump. So let me see if I got any Trump stuff left, and then I'll go into my fun theory. No, this is the general stuff. I looked at the Milwaukee Election Commission. They talked about absentee voter ID, which I thought was pretty interesting. She said that the voter absentee ballot can be thrown out and not counted if they deem it's not legitimate absentee ballot. Which I thought was interesting because I'm like, oh. So, but she said they go through a bunch of practices to determine what a true absentee is. So, don't ever do absentee ballot if you can avoid it. If you're not like military, try to just go in person, or at least at minimum early voting or voting by mail. Just try to do it that way. What else did they talk? Oh, Mickey Rourke. I thought that was funny. This is general information, guys. I thought that was so funny because Mickey Rourke is going ham on Donald Trump. Like, what? He basically is like Donald Trump's nemesis, and Donald Trump is getting on him talking about, you got the worst plastic surgery in the world. Oh, they just going back and forth. So if y'all want to be entertained today, go look up Mickey Rourke and Donald Trump battle. Y'all gonna be cracking up the whole rest of the day. Let's see what else. Oh, also, I wanted to thank you guys for giving me the motivation to come on here and do this every day, because what I personally feel like, I actually been loving this. I've been loving coming on here. I know sometimes I get heated and stuff because like I'm passionate about my stuff, but for the most part I like really enjoy coming up here and talking to y'all because it's clearing up my algorithm, because this live has allowed me to have people black, white, Mexican, Indian, you know, everybody, Puerto Rican, Dominican, everybody been coming up here, like Chinese people. And it's been so fun, but what that has done to my algorithm is it shook it up and it cleared my algorithm. So I appreciate you guys joining my lives every week, because it really shakes up my algorithm and allows me like this diversity and this insight. So my commercials are different. A lot of you guys interacting with me and feeds my algorithm. So thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's different and diverse, who's willing to join and not be nasty or snarky. I really, really appreciate it. Phoenix, Arizona, just like PA is the big dominating factor this year. Back in 2020, Phoenix, Arizona was the big dog. It gave Joe Biden his win. And no, it's usually a Republican state. No other candidate outside of Bill Clinton and Harry Truman turned Arizona. Only Joe Biden. So it's going to be really, really hard for Kamala to turn Phoenix, Arizona, but it is one of those swing states that is very important to her campaign. First I was cold. First I was hot, now I'm cold because I turned the air on. Now I'm like, Oh, this is unrelated to the president debate. This is just general politics and politicking. So New York City, if you guys are in here, your vote is very, very, very important apparently, and not for the president. Isn't that interesting? So Brooklyn, specifically New York, Manhattan, all of y'all people, your vote is extremely important for Congress this year. So make sure that, I don't know who your Congress people is. I just saw this on Sky News. Again, this is the Australian news outlet, which I like them because they're neutral-ish. They tend to lean more towards red, but generally neutral. So what about them? They said that the Congress is like this big, it's going to make a huge splash if it is Republican. So go check it out. Whoever is in New York City, make sure you looking up, make sure you taking a look at who your Congress people are. Big ticket item will be abortion, the termination of abortion this year. So if the candidates didn't get it right to the people, like this is it, this is the final hour. So they either got it wrong or right. If the people feel like the candidates didn't get the issue of abortion right, they're out of here. So whoever, we're going to learn where America stands with abortion based on who wins the presidency. Because you heard Trump. He said he's going to take care of all the women. You heard Kamala. She said she's going to try to do her best to repeal Roe v. Wade. So either way, we'll see what happens. But whoever wins will really tell us a lot about where the future of women's rights lie. Joe Scarborough, y'all know him. He's the Republican, but he's also he's like moderate left Republican. Really interesting guy. He talked about Americans like kind of like what I feel on the page a little bit. He's like, where are the Americans I grew up with? He's like, these are not my people. And he's like, where are, to me I feel the same, like, where are the Harry the Spy kind of girlies? Who y'all grew up to be? Where y'all at? Who are the Natalie Portman girls? Who y'all grew up to be? Where are y'all? Did y'all grow up to be Melania's? Or did y'all grow up to be Kamala's? I'm curious. Where are the, I forgot her name, Jennifer Garner girls? I'm thinking about the girls who were, like, when I was young, I looked up to. Who else? Where are the Nebulas? The Xena. I guess I know where Raven Simone at. Child, she out there with Orlando Bloom. She not as bad as him, but. Who else? I'm just thinking about, like, the girls from my generation. Where are y'all? Where are the Miley Cyruses? I don't know. It's just interesting. Who did you guys grow up to be? And that's what Joe was saying. He was like, he doesn't remember his class. He remembers his classmate. I'm guessing he's a lot older than me, so I'm assuming his classmates were probably like the, I don't know, who was in the 90s? Ooh, Madonna? No, we know who she was. Who is like popular? I'm thinking about Funky Brewster. He would be probably, those would be like his classmates. That's who he's talking about. His America being great was like the Funky Brewsters, the Suzanne, I forgot her last name. You know what I'm talking about, those kind of quirky white girls from the 80s. That's who he probably grew up with seeing, and like that's probably who his classmates were. And he's like, where y'all at? Like, who did y'all turn into? Did y'all turn into these kind of stiff, bored conservatives, or are you still a kind of free thinking radical like we used to be when we were kids? But you know how that goes when you start having children and you gotta deal with these school boards and you're dealing with the reality of it all in corporate America. You do get more conservative. Even myself, like, I know as I get older I become extremely conservative with my viewpoints because I want the vision of my child's future to be a certain way. So my views shift based on motherhood, and maybe that's happening for a lot of women in America right now. Maybe that's why he doesn't see the Funky Brewster type of girl no more. Excuse me. Okay, so Obama said that if we don't show up tomorrow, or was that Oprah? It was either one of them. Both of them, I think, said it in different ways. If we don't show up tomorrow, we may never have the opportunity to vote again. I don't know how true that is, but that's how it feels. That's the weight of it, right? It feels like if we don't vote for Kamala, it's the end of the world. That's how they've made it seem. And the right-wing outlets were really, really upset with that ideology because they were saying, like, dude, that's how they've made it seem. And the right-wing outlets were really, really upset with that ideology because they were saying, like, dude, we're calling me. They always call. Okay. They were saying it's not that kind of party. We're still going to have voting in the future. But to me, as a person that's been watching this for both you guys, like for the Republicans and the Democrats, Trump said that ish. I saw it with my own eyes. He said that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to vote. He's like, this will be it. He said that. He literally said that. So I don't know. It's interesting watching the Republicans trying to flip it. But he said he got to stand on that one. Just like the Roe v. Wade, then he got to stand on that one. He was so happy. And I watched this with my own eyes too. He's like, oh my gosh, Roe v. Wade, like, I did that. It's amazing. Then the girls, his wife was like, huh, baby, that's not cool. You're not going to win the women with this. A lot of my friends, this is what shifted him. She said, Melania said, baby, and his daughter, Ivana. She said, baby, my friends are getting IVF. And you know that bill you passed, IVF is under the umbrella of that. So this is messing up with my friends. So once he heard that, he said, oh, my wife was upset with me, my daughter upset with me. He said, so I'm changing that bill. So that's when the guy talked about common sense. That's what he said. It should have been common sense in the first place, not to touch our bodies. Not to mess with a historical overturning of like a woman's body, the right to choose. And I remember being in college and studying Roe v. Wade. It was like the whole class. Like from September to like January, we studied Roe v. Wade. That like legislation has so much meat and potatoes. You can't just go in there and clean it out like a pumpkin. No, you can't carve it clean. No, you have to look at each strand in that pumpkin and make sure that the strands are clean a lot. And you know when you about to cook some pumpkin seeds, you got to clean off every strand. You got to wash that thing a few times. You got to actually look into and invest. You can't just go in and change something as historical as Roe v. Wade. We had like 6 different tests. We had quizzes on that. That Roe v. Wade is like, it's huge, as he likes to say. So I didn't like that he even touched it. He shouldn't even touched it. He shouldn't have touched that, and he shouldn't have touched the Israel thing. He should have never told them that Jerusalem is in. He should have never touched that. Since I was a kid, they've been trying to get peace in the Middle East, and you gonna touch that? That was stupid. So he does things that just kind of is too fast, like too fast, too soon. You can make changes, but they have to be incremental changes. You can't just go in and overhaul things and gut out. Yes, he can. You know why? It just hit me. Because that's what he do. He goes in, he guts buildings out, he reconstructs them into what he deems better. Even if it's a nasty, dirty, gaudy, gold building. To him, it's better than what he found it. And that's what he wants to do with America. He wants to go in and gut it out and turn us into a shiny, golden, but molded wall. Anyway, y'all. All right. Where we at? Okay, so a lot of the news outlets are really nervous about his election because they said American leadership, this is an Australian news network too, they say American leadership is important even abroad for them, for like Australians. And they were talking about just not even Australians, but the world abroad, global landscape for the cost of living in their country. They said inflation costs in their country also goes up. They said national security declines when there's a poor leadership in American society. And they said the support for Israel is also something that is huge whenever the American president leaves. So they're left to their own defenses. And China's continuous threats, like, so in countries like Australia, Switzerland, Denmark, things like that, when America's not in power and like doing the right thing, there always that constant fear that China's going to come take over. Hold on, I don't know, I think I'm getting sick. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. My daughter was sick last week. I think I done picked up her cold. Oh my goodness. You know how that is as a mom. You'll go in to tend to the babies, but the babies get you sick. Honey, I hate that for me. Okay, yeah. So Australia, they're a little bit nervous about the threat of China. And I also think that's probably true for like places like Russia, which is why Russia particularly are really like the city of war because they own so much land. And if you look at the globe, like look how much Russia owns, or Asia in general. And there's always gonna be fights in Asia because there's just so much mass land so close together. So they have to really truly define their territory. Whereas us, you see our country, it's easy to define our borders because we're surrounded by so many lakes of water. So again, our major fear would be like a nuke, boom, coming in. But to get in from those shores, you gotta be really bowdy. Like it's gonna be hard. So whereas Russia is dense and the water's on the outskirts, but there's not a lot of water inland. Whereas China, how it's situated, has a lot of water around it. Water is how you fight battles and ward off invaders. So China can stop some people, but if they can go into Russia, they have to be really careful because once they're in Russia, they're stuck there. They're either going to win or die. So China, if they ever want to attack Russia, have to be really calculated and careful. So if you think about it like that, in terms of like land, gathering land, expanding land, and us humans being here, that's why people want to take stuff. It's about survival of their people. Most people aren't like good or bad or evil. There's some bad people, obviously, a lot of bad people in the world. But most people just want what's best for their children and their families. And if them being evaded is a consistent fear for them, they're going to move a lot different than we would here in the States, where we have that border patrol, essentially. Okay, so where are we? Okay, it says never in American history has an election been so close. Trump currently, this is as of last night. I don't know. I've been on this live for about an hour, so things could have changed. But as of a few hours ago, Trump he was ahead in all but 2 battleground states. So he was ahead in Arizona, he was ahead in Nevada, he was ahead in North Carolina, and he was ahead in Georgia. And Harris was ahead in Wisconsin, which makes sense, and Michigan. So she has an uphill battle when it comes to that. The last part of today that I want to talk about that I thought was pretty fun was the Nelson Mandela effect. Y'all ever heard of that? Okay, it's called a Mandela effect. So I was sitting there thinking, and I said, why is Elon so concerned? So his number one concern, and why he put his business and everything. So his number one concern is losing X, because that's people can have money, but the rich, the narcissistic rich, don't just want money. They want fame. So the fame is what feeds their ego, feeds their, confidence about themselves, their self-actualization. Can you imagine having 2.6, what we say, yeah, $262 billion, something like that, we just Googled earlier. And then you walk into a grocery store and nobody knows you. If you are humble and you cool with that, that's amazing life to live. You can buy anything, you can do anything, but that's not what feeds them. Fear feeds them. They got to that success because they had to do some strange things for a piece of change. You ain't not becoming a billionaire without doing something that you kind of made yourself feel insecure about, right? You lost a bit of your soul for. And so with Elon, I think, I talked about this in my last life, I think the shift was apartheid, South Africa, the 90s, that break, and the Nelson Mandela of it all, right? For him to see this white rule, beautiful country in his mind turn into, you see out South Africa today, it's a swamp. And I'm being real, it's beautiful country still, beautiful for the rich. But if you are average Joe, it's a swamp. And let's take the ego out of it, and let's take the dark MAGA part out of it, the grown up part of Elon. Let's break him down to a child. You have a child who is extremely fearful, and hearing in his household the overturning of government from a black man who's been in prison for 20 plus years. And he's radical, who was killing probably people you knew. I shouldn't say the word K, right? But who was hurting people you knew. So with that trauma of it all, he sees the lens of a very specific way, and he sees potential in America to be the past apartheid. So when he's saying make America great again, he's saying make South Africa great. That part of the 1990s, the late 80s, early 90s, which is when it probably was fun and free, and black people were where they supposed to be in a place. And that's always going to be the issue, because America and the countries are only great when where we supposed to be. But we ain't going back. That's what we trying to tell y'all. Like, it's not happening. So, okay. So now, because of that, he had that fear. So his whole life, and then his mother had him reading all sorts of books. He was already really, really, really smart, like amazingly smart. And he didn't really go to college. He didn't have like a big education. College was like self-educated, right? He's really smart. He loves books. Like he said, he'll just grab a quantum physics book and just started reading it from ear to ear. His mom said she would have questions and pull out an encyclopedia, go through the encyclopedia, ask him a question, he would answer the question. And then she said he had read so many books. Just go with who you want to go with. That's your business. So he was reading books. So his mama said to him, you too ahead of me. He said, you got to go. So his mama sent him to his daddy's house. And his daddy was already, I forgot what his dad did, but he's some big shot. And his dad ended up supporting him like more with the like more education and gave him like more and more and more. So that's what we see with Elon. And then they had to flee because of the apartheid that was going on in South Africa. So you can imagine having this beautiful life. This you running around, you hang with your daddy, you going to library. He's damn Belle from Beauty and the Beast. He's like, la, la. And then apartheid, and his whole world shatters. He got to leave everything behind. And so from that point, Elon is moving with fear, not in love. And I say, if you move in fear, it translates a certain way to the dark. I don't want nothing dark in my life. I want a light MAGA. I don't want no dark MAGA. So the dark, the children of the dark, right? But I'm the children of the light. So that's why I recognize, when they say I recognize, you say I recognize the child in him. I recognize the light in him, the beauty of his brains and things like that. But what he doing, the way he carrying it out is wrong. And if you go look at Elon mother and Donald Trump mother, they almost identical. So they kind of grew up the same way with that how could you be so heartless? They had them kind of mamas. So now, the Nelson Mandela effect of it all. So I don't know if you guys know what that means. I wrote this. I said, I think Elon is flipping the Nelson Mandela effect on his head. I said, now, why do they call it the Nelson Mandela effect? I said, it's called the Nelson Mandela effect because it's named after false memory that Nelson Mandela died in 1980s, which was popularized by paranormal researcher Fiona Broome. She and others share the same memory that there was a news outlet that said that Nelson Mandela is dead in the 1980s. But if you look on Google and everywhere, they say Nelson Mandela did not die until 2013. I didn't know that. In the Diddy of it all too? And it's crazy because I remember we used to see pictures of Nelson Mandela when I was a kid. And I watched this movie, a documentary, and they were talking about him before he went in and like how he was throwing the things and he would throw those gas bombs and stuff into people's houses, like into police officers' houses and stuff. And he was an extreme radical. And then I remember, fast forward, he got out of jail. He this meek, mild-tempered Buddha, essentially. And I didn't get it. And I remember being a kid like, that's not him. I said that to my mother at like 5, 6 years. I said, that's not him. That's not the guy you just showed, because we used to watch these shows called Keep Your Eyes on the Prize. That's the way black people used to get information. That's why it's so interesting. I always say this. I told a guy about Willie Lynch. And he said, oh, that's made up. It's a lie. And I said, okay, but how is it made up? If I know this information in New Jersey, then this person know this. I go to college and the black person from Indiana know the information. Black person from Zimbabwe know this information. Black person, how can it be a lie? I ain't never know these black people in my life. Black person from Minnesota know this information. Black person from California know that. But we lying? And this is before Google and the internet. How we all know this information if it's a lie? That's the stuff that black people deal with in America. Y'all tell us stuff is lies, but everybody in our mama know the information who we never even met before. That's what we call each other kinfolk, because we all have the same information some way, somehow. Telekinesis? Are we really the avatars? They know. I don't know. But that's what this made me think of when I saw the 1980s he died. Because I never thought the Nelson Mandela that got out. This is a kid me, like when I was little. I never thought the Nelson Mandela from the grown-up was the Nelson Mandela who was throwing them bombs. Because if you see the videos of him throwing them things, he looked completely different than the Nelson Mandela that got out. They don't even got the same face. And I always thought of that. And I also thought, how can somebody who is brutalized so much in the prison for 20 plus years come out all jolly like Santa Claus? And I said, it's one of two things. Either I didn't never think he was gone, like how this article said. I rationalized it as they broke him in jail. And they made him so googly soft, like that's why he is so like anti his old self. But if he actually died in the 1980s, then that would make more sense, right? Especially with the Jamie Foxx of it all. They saying Jamie Foxx, got cloned and all that stuff when he was on that weird, wouldn't tell us what was going on with his health kind of thing. But yeah, y'all know I love a good conspiracy theory. But that Nelson Mandela effect, go look it up. It's going to freak you out. If you guys like that kind of stuff and going down those rabbit holes, whoa, it's fun. It's similar to the butterfly effect. It's basically the idea of seeing something that everybody sees and then learning later that it was a lie. So, for example, I saw one recently with the Little Debbie. The Little Debbie had the horn and fruit around it. Or was it Fruit of the Loom? It was one of them, the Fruit of the Loom or Little Debbie. They had a horn with fruit around it for the slogan. And then the people were like, I could have sworn it had a horn. I could have sworn. People were like, no, it never had a horn. It only had fruit. But it come to find out, it really did only have, it did, oh, I can't even remember. See? And that's how it happens. Either y'all let me know. Y'all Google it. Did it have the horn or the fruit? For the Fruit of the Loom. Is it Fruit of the Loom or Little Debbie? So that's the butterfly effect. But the Mandela effect is basically, that's not the real Nelson Mandela that died in 2013. That's like a person. I think that's it, y'all. And I'm getting sick now. So I think I need to take a nap before my baby come back. And then I also need to come back on here. I might come back on here. It depends. Like I said, if it's closed, I might come back on around 9 or 10 after election. I think election closes at about 8 o'clock for everybody, so I'll hop back on around 10 o'clock, maybe 9, maybe 10 if I can, if it's like closed. If it's not closed, then I'll see y'all next week, or I might hop on maybe this weekend. So, but thank y'all for joining me today. How you doing, Monica? Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Until next week, joining me for my 2 live crew. I am Nico Nicole, and this is Pretty Politico. Remember, if you don't have nothing else, just maintain your MVP, which is your morals, your values, and your principles. And I love you. Good night. Take care. I'll see you guys later.